I'm a little late to this one. We've got ourselves the Last of Us trailer. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know what's going to happen, but from what we saw with the teaser, it looked pretty spot on. It looked like they were going through the exact same story with everything looking exactly like it does in the games. Looks like everyone was cast pretty well. I think there was a couple of controversies recently about what they said or something. I don't know. Oh, right. They complained about. I think someone complained about race swapping Joel's daughter, and they're gonna say that she doesn't even die. Uh, Come on, relax. Okay, it was a very minor role. I get it. They gotta have their social brownie points and their virtue signaling. I get the complaint, but look, if it's a small role like that, you know what they're actually doing? They're actually saying, "Hey, we could give this big role of Ellie to a black woman, but no, we're just gonna do this." It's kind of like with the Pinocchio remake, where they had the fairy be she was white in the original, and then they split her role into three separate characters and made two of them black and then one of them white. I think something like that. But the point is like, wow, we couldn't even give us an actual like good black character. No, we have to reduce the role substantially just so that the black character could play it. And I'm like, what are you trying to say about black people? That's horrible, you know. You can thank the mysterious Mr. Enter for for telling that joke. But no, if they race swap her here, so what? That doesn't ruin the entire show in terms of, oh, it's just gonna be and by that I mean, like, when I say ruin, I mean it's not like they're just gonna focus on racial identity. Hopefully not. I mean, I know the second game got a lot of crap because it showed a lot about Ellie and dealing with sexuality and calling some guy a bigot nonstop. I'm like, you're in a future where there's zombies everywhere, or like, creatures, and people are killing each other. Is gay marriage really that big of a deal to you at that point? Or gay relationships in general? I think the guy denied it too. I don't remember. I only watched the game movie. I never actually played the game itself. But I didn't like the story because they made what's her name, Abby, a lot more likable than Ellie. All right. They made her story. They didn't make her a villain. They made the story seem like, oh wow, she had every right to kill Joel. It's ridiculous how that game was structured. Oh well, though. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe with the notification bell. Let's get started with the Last of Us trailer right away, and hopefully it's good. Okay, I really hope the show is good because The Last of Us is one of the best games of the 21st century. All right, it really is. It's probably the best zombie game there is. Let's get started. All right, here we go.
If you don't think there's hope for the world, why bother going on?
I think they got Joel pretty well. The beard's right and everything. Isn't he technically race swap too? Or what is Pedro Pascal? Is he Italian?
No.
I don't know.
Your cargo.
Ellie seems a little off, but it's like, I think it's just the hair.
So important. Somewhere out west, they're working on a cure. I think what really impressed them was the fact that I didn't turn into a monster.
If she so much as twitches.
Okay, that's a little off.
Okay.
They're gonna add unnecessary humor, I see. That doesn't necessarily ruin it.
I'm taking you with me. You do what I say when I say it. You got any advice on the best way?
They're still gonna kill off what's her name.
Yeah.
How did I forget her name?
You've come this far.
You're not gonna scare us.
Scared him? You have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined.
All right, that's what's her name, the leader of the Fireflies.
Be careful who you put your faith in.
I'm guessing that was his brother. How did I forget everybody's name? I was just saying their names a little while ago.
You trust me?
Tommy, yeah, that was it. Okay, I don't see a problem with this. It looks just right. Oh shit! Clickers! Or was that a bloater? not a bloater. That's Left 4 Dead. Or is it I forget what they're called. It's been a while since I played the game. You know what? Maybe I should play the game all over again in the live stream, because I got close to the end. Like, I've seen the whole game movie, but I didn't actually complete the game myself, because I got about 3/4 of the way through, and then I lost all the data from it. I lost all the data on my PS4 and I had to start over every game, and that really sucked. Same reason I never finished Red Dead Redemption 2, which, sucks, but yeah. It seems fine to me. It didn't even show his daughter, so I don't know what people are talking about. I guess they talked about the casting choice for that. Again, it's a minor role. I know it's huge. It has a big impact on him. I think people just complain a little too much about that. I think they're just saying, "Oh, if you race swap anybody, it must be for woke reasons." I'm like, yeah, I get that they're probably doing it for a woke reason. That doesn't necessarily mean that it itself is woke. All right, so I argued this with Halo. If they just change the race, but they don't change anything about the character, it's not woke. And I had some dumbass in the argument tell me, like in the comment section, tell me, "Oh yeah, well no, it's all about like race. It says everything about their personality and their their culture and their background." And I'm like, dude, if you met me at all, if you knew anything about me, you'd know I don't appear Mexican to most people. All right. I've been told I'm acting too white, or I'm acting too Asian. That's what I've always been told, because I grew up around, I grew up around a lot of Hispanics and a lot of Asians, especially Vietnamese. Because where I live, there's a shit ton of Vietnamese people. But, I was always told that, you don't really exhibit things. Like, you don't like banda music. I'm like, I like banda music. I just don't really listen to it. Like, you love anime. And I'm like, yeah, so what? Plenty of Chicanos love anime. Plenty of these guys, they'll listen to this kind of stuff. I'm like, and, they'll say, you just don't do anything that's Mexican cultural. It's part of your Mexican culture. And I'm like, dude, I'm American. Like, I get that being Mexican is part of my heritage, but I'm American primarily. That's nationality seems to matter a little more to me than culture. I'll take part in cultural things from my heritage, but it's not like my primary choice or primary concern. But this guy in the comment section is all like, "Yeah, Captain Keyes would never do this if he was white. Nah, he's a man of honor and shit." And I'm like, dude, read into Captain Keyes' background. He's a scumbag like everybody else. He was a great officer and a great military leader, but he did a lot of shady shit. For starters, he helped kidnap 75 children. He never forgot their faces, but, he felt guilt for it his entire life. And, he felt guilty, but he still did it. He still did it, and he was going to tell Master Chief once. And he's like, "I'm not allowed to talk about it." And what was the first thing he did when he got to the fleet? Oh, that's right. An officer of his, like a commanding officer, got a bunch of his classmates killed, and he refused to testify and refused to get the guy locked up. I'm like, why would you not testify to get this guy locked up? It wasn't even an accident. The guy was just being reckless. Or I could be wrong about that. The point is, don't think just because he switched his race, like, oh, Captain Key's gonna kill that little girl. How could he? And I'm like, he would definitely do that in the games and the books and everything. All right? He would definitely do that. He's like, he's too loyal to the deep state. Okay? And I'll talk about things like, oh, the show's super woke because she's like, this girl's talking back to the deep state and into the government and shit. I'm like, hold on. What's your political ideology? Sure enough, the guy was, I think he was conservative. I'm like, aren't you arguing right now against government forces and the deep state? Then how are you saying it's woke to do that? Are you saying you're woke? But I've strayed a little too far from The Last of Us. No, what I'm trying to say here is that they're not really, even if they race swap, it doesn't necessarily change much. As long as you don't talk about the background and say, oh, this, like, my race is what matters here and not really my story. You change up everything for that. Then yeah, I can see why people would complain. It adds a little, the first few times people were like, it's whatever. But then after you do that consistently time and time again, race swapping over and over, specifically for this reason, then it gets cringe. It gets really cringe. It gets really poorly written, and they're more focused on the message than they are on actually making a story. And therefore, nobody watches the story, so nobody hears the message, and you just end up causing more harm than good. So I can understand all that. But what I really think here is that the show seems pretty good. I mean, you got the stories going just right. It had some of that cringe humor right there, like that, Ellie doing that. I'm pretty sure Ellie would do that. She does she does make a bunch of jokes throughout the game. Like, my favorite's the one where she gets that what was it, that gay guy who was like hiding out in town? He was a mechanic or something. And she's like, oh, we've got his truck now. And he's got this magazine. She's looking through it, and you're like, the kid's reading like a swimsuit magazine of some sort, or like a nude magazine full of men. And Joel's just kind of letting her. Now we know Ellie's a lesbian, but that's not really the point. She's all like, all these pages like stuck together. Why is that? And he's like, oh, no, don't look at that. I'm just fucking with you. It's cool. And then she just throws it out. I'm like, well, okay then. You really had to do that? I don't know. I really loved Ellie in the first game. I mean, Joel's a psychopath. let's be real about that. Yeah, most people can agree that from the perspective of what happened in the actual like game, they were more than justified to kill him in the second game. I personally would have done it at the beginning of the game, and I wouldn't have had to be brutally murdered in that sense. I think I would have had them hunt him down, him trying to avoid it, and then get shot, and then shot again, rather than brutally murdered. I don't know, but then like everything happens, and it's a weird paradox they have. Am I spoiling too much? Now that I think about it, I think I'm spoiling too much. I'll probably put a disclaimer that I'm spoiling the second game for those who haven't seen it. But yeah, in the second game, when they kill Joel, it's all about. I lost my train of thought. Give me a second. When they kill him, they kind of make you like, oh, these guys are the bad guys. Tommy's gonna go hunt him down. Then you're gonna get Ellie to hunt him down, and then it gets worse because you actually get all their backgrounds. They become all of the people who killed them become even more likable than him in every way, shape, or form. So that's the main reason people complain about the game. You know, yeah, it has like the lesbian sex scene. It has the straight sex. It's funny. People think that you complain more about the game because of the lesbian thing in it. People were extreme. They were complaining a shit ton about the straight sex scene. All right, the heterosexual sex scene between what's her name, Abby and her boyfriend, and they're having sex on screen, and it was terrible. All right, I agree, it was terrible. Shouldn't have had that. But more people complain about that than Ellie being a lesbian. More people complain about that than the weird lesbian love scenes we see where it gets a little forced. All right, in my opinion, I thought the straight sex scene was way worse, but yeah. Personally, this whole story there just gets a little off. I don't know. Maybe I've said too much. Maybe I'm going to be controversial with this video. The show seems fine, okay? The show seems fine. I think I'm going to play the games at some point in the live stream. Who knows? Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe with the notification bell. And, you know, tell me what y'all think. Is this going to be... Is the show going to be a lot like the game? It's going to be way too different from the game? The casting choices seem right? You know, not the daughter. We haven't seen the daughter on screen. But does it all look about right? I think it does. I think it looks pretty good. And I think Pedro Pascal is going to pull this off, you know, regardless of some of his other things he likes to do and say. But yeah, I mean, love the guy as the Mandalorian. You know, love the guy as well, no, I didn't like him as Maxwell Lord. No, that was terrible. Well, let's be real. He was emulating Trump. Now, they denied it, but you can see that's basically what... I guess they could have easily said, well, yeah, when we wrote him, he was based off Trump, and that was before he got into politics. I don't know. Let's just end this on that.